Okay, taking care of business. I know I said I wasn't going to sing on video, on the recording, but with objectives and key results. So people may think this is a really big thing because it's got all this emphasis in SAFe 6.0. And I am going to show you that this idea of OKRs and the key elements have actually been around in SAFe in the area of strategic themes. I'm going to talk about what we can do today in Agile Hive. And I'm going to show you an advanced concept based on my conversations with some of our customers and other, let's say, add-ins and solutions that they're looking for. So this is straight out of SAFe, not Compton, but straight out of SAFe, that strategic themes are best stated in objectives and key results format. So what is that? OKRs are just more specific about applying a time box and being measurable. When I first took a SAFe lean portfolio management course 3 years ago, they talked about strategic themes need to have these elements, right? They need to be measurable. They need to be time boxed. So OKRs just give us a little more structure around those ideas. And why do we need that? Well, of course, you remember from my previous sessions on success patterns for product management, that product management, in order to deliver value, has to deliver value both to the customers and to the business. And so they have to align to the business strategy around and sound economics. Like, are we moving into a new geographic market? Are we moving into a new age demographic? What are our income, revenue kind of goals? Along with, how do we make Kevin and our other customers very happy? Also, system architecture. You remember this too. We have to align the architecture with the business priorities. Are we trying to build reusable components for our automotive product lines? Are we trying to, like Tesla, be able to understand the bill of materials for every single car that's out, in the world? So we have to align the architecture with those business priorities. And this is where strategic themes implemented as OKRs come into our picture. This table is actually from a presentation that my colleague Sahil Panikar and I delivered at SAFe Summit in Denver last year. Nashville last year. So what you can see here these are some strategic themes represented as objectives and key results that Sahil and I actually built for a U.S. military defense contractor that we were working with. So these just give you some real examples. We also added some non-functional requirements, but what do you notice here? There's a time horizon over 5 years. This is our objective. And how are we going to measure the key results, and who owns those key results? Okay, great. So now you're excited. You want to do this, and you want to know how Agile Hive can help you. Well, today you can create strategic themes. Now, I'm going to tell you, some of my screenshots are from Agile Hive Data Center and some from Agile Hive Cloud, but they are equal in terms of what you can do in this simple OKR representation that I am showing you first. Okay, so this is data center, but I've got a strategic theme. The workflow in there includes MVP state, and this is a strategic theme where I have just in the summary of it, what is our measurable goal and what is our time frame? Now, here is the real gold in being able to do this in Agile Hive, is that I can connect it to the specific work items. Now, you remember my specific example called Fly by Hive, but these are features. These are art features, and this is an art enabler. Now, when I talk to some of our other even Agile data center customers, they say all the other things that we've looked at, the other tools, don't connect our OKRs to the specific work that we are doing within the art, within the large solutions, within the teams that make this key result happen. So that is really the key takeaway. First takeaway is that Agile Hive allows you to do that. Now, in the data center example that I use, we do have this template for a Confluence page. And yes, we can use the same template in cloud, but you can see here that this is a strategic theme that has further articulation of the objective and line items for each of the key results. Now, this gives you that all the elements of objectives and key results that you may be sufficient. I talk to customers who say, yeah, this is great. This is where we want to start. Okay. Now, one thing to note about key results is that often the key results come from another data source. It's not something related to Agile Hive specifically or the work of the product teams. So growing the number of early adopters, right? That may come from a sales system or a licensing revenue system, which is not normally something we keep in Agile Hive. But I'm going to show you some examples of how we use this ourselves in Agile Hive. So sit on the edge of your seat and I'll get to that one. So here we are now in a cloud example. In our cloud Agile Hive, you do have a strategic theme at the portfolio level. But what if you're only using Essential Save or even large solution? You can still use the objective issue type. And I'm showing you an example. Here's an objective issue type where I just used a naming convention so that I can sort and filter and see a summary of the OKR elements. And what I really love is that I can make that the objective of these key results, which are of type, who knows, enabler. So doesn't it make sense? The enablers enable us to measure how we're doing against this objective. Do I have to have a separate issue type called key result? No, I don't. Not if I feel comfortable with maybe using this naming convention and the most important thing, which is it's measurable and it's time bound. And then the magic is we can, here I'm taking you to our example. So in Agile Hive Universe, which is kind of our value stream in Zybert, in Zybert, we are actually using this to represent our objectives. And this is one objective that I own, to inject feature innovation with a lean startup approach. And I have a key result here represented: inject at least 5 topics, measurable, into an innovation cycle in first quarter 2024, time boxed. Okay. And then the magic. We're going to link it to the work. Well, not everyone in our Agile Hive universe knows exactly what an innovation cycle is. So I put the steps. I could have put those at the objective level. And then you can see this key result. I can easily see that it belongs to the objective through the magic of our bidirectional linking. I can see the status of it. And then I can take that key result and, just as I showed you before, link it to the specific work that we are doing. Some of you've talked to me about flow metrics, and we've talked about how we are going to incrementally deliver flow metrics. You're seeing today this OKR concept, and this is part of what I'm doing today with you. And you've also seen in cloud the team reports that are awesome. And you've seen that there's some of those widgets that are still in progress, right? This is a lean startup cycle. We're delivering value in small increments and also gathering feedback. So that is an example of how we are using objectives and key results ourselves in Agile Hive today. Now, an advanced concept that I've worked with a couple of customers on who are looking at other solutions. I'll just say there's an add-in to Jira called O-Board, for example. And so I looked at what one customer likes about O-Board, and I said, well, we could model a strategic theme issue as an OKR if we just add it. We could add a field called objective if people want that separated out. We could explicitly say what is the time frame, and what people also like is to aggregate the progress from our key results. So, and my apologies, disclaimer, whatever, I spent most of my career in model-based systems engineering. So this is some simple unified modeling language notation, but I hope it's intuitive for you. The strategic theme can be an objective of one or more key results. So we could add a key result issue type that has not only the usual suspects of fields, but we could have a baseline value, a target value, a current value, a progress percentage, and maybe even link to the data source, or at least identify the data source. And then it's implemented by, and of course, this is the Agile Hive magic, because this is where we have the work. It could be a portfolio epic, or a capability at large solution, or a feature at the art or story or enable. I should have really put 0 to many, because you would not have to link those to work item types. So that's just a meta model, because that's how I see everything in the world. Now, lastly, I have some user stories for OKRs. You can go read these in detail when you get the recording, but I always want to think about who is using these features and how are they using them? What are their goals? So most people say, well, we have a strategist for a portfolio that want to see this summary chart of the progress of all the strategic themes and a bar chart. So what does that look like? Not words, but here is a simple example. Our Figma prototypers are probably like flinching now, because I just did something very, very rough here. But for each objective, we could see the timeline and the representation of progress against the planned timeline. So, Laura, I apologize to you for that. Not nearly as cool as what you create for us, prototype. Then as an objective owner, I want to see the progress of the objective as an aggregation of the progress of the key results. And I want to see the details of those. You can look at this in detail and tell us, in an email, or send in something to support to say, well, yeah, I like all those things, or I don't want this thing, that's not as important, but what I really want is something else. Okay, so user stories, the last one, key result owner, I need to be able to update the progress. If that progress is an aggregation of work type issues in Agile Hive, we can probably get that automatically. And then this is the part that I love the most. And I don't know even how technically feasible it is from our teams, but I really like notifications of any planning, progress, delay of activities of the work related to the key result. And certainly this is where Confluence helps me too, because I can follow Confluence pages, etc. So that's the summary. I am close to my 20-minute time box. So in conclusion, objectives and key results are just a technique to make measurable time box statements of business strategy. It's a further refinement of strategic themes. They should be linked to the work of the organization that help achieve the results. Why else are we putting them in our portfolio level of safe? And then progress on the OKRs really help the organization focus on achieving business outcomes. What if I'm not achieving my key result in the Asia Pacific market to the extent that I had targeted? That will cause me to look further into exactly what I am doing or not doing in my systems to make that happen. And I hope I've convinced you that getting started with OKRs, very possible in Agile Hive today. I don't like to overbake things right out of the chute. Like the key elements of objectives and key results, you got to get that built into the culture of your organization first before you overwhelm them with tooling that might be more than they need to accomplish it. And that is what I have to present. We look forward to hearing from you about if you need more information, if you want a one-on-one session with me and Daniel, or if you want some feedback on what else you need. That's it, Daniel. I'm going to hand it back to you.